The recent government shutdown had an impact on our outdoor life here in Colorado. We covered this extensively as thousands of National Park Service personnel were furloughed, leaving many areas ungated and largely unsupervised. Joining me now, we have Teresa Martinez, the Executive Director of the Continental Divide Trail Coalition. Thanks for being here, Teresa. And your coalition is a nonprofit. It was actually thanks to some of your volunteers that some of these areas were still usable even during the shutdown.
Absolutely. Even though the trail was closed, we had volunteers out on their own, making sure that the garbage was picked up.
Nice.
And there were a lot of great things happening, just people stepping up together to support our federal agencies in this time.
So recovering from the shutdown, the government's open again, so those people are working again, and those positions are now working and helping, but there are lasting impacts, unfortunately.
Absolutely, and you would think that because the government's open that they're just right back to work, but actually because of the time of year when the government shutdown actually occurred, they were already coming into the end of the year, beginning the new year, and so that tends to be a huge workload for folks anyways, and then you close the government down, they're already distracted, and now they have even that much more work on. So yeah, the long-lasting impacts, aside from some of the potential damage that occurred, is just the overwhelming amount of work that our federal agency partners need to do, and you know, it can take them weeks, months to actually get back to where they should have been in January so we can all move forward.
Tell us about moving forward a little bit, and actually I want to, you know, the Continental Divide Trail is an impressive, humongous trail that covers lots more than just Colorado. Tell people who may not know much about it.
Sure. The Continental Divide Trail is a 3,100-mile-long national scenic trail designated by Congress in 1978. This is the 40th year of the National Trail. Wow. And it runs from Mexico to Canada, so from the Boot Heel in New Mexico, right on the Mexican border, all the way up to Glacier Waterton National Parks. And so it is an amazing resource of 1.98 million federal acres of land that the American public can access at any given time. And it's a pretty tremendous effort. It's maintained by volunteers and partners and organizations like ours. We sort of serve as the overarching coordinative effort on the private side, but we work very closely with our federal agencies to manage this trail.
What can people do now that the government is back open? You guys still have a lot of volunteers you rely on. What should people know if they want to help preserve this trail?
Yeah, I think the first thing they can do is get on our website, which is continentaldividetrail.org, and actually just learn about the ways they can participate, whether it's through our volunteer projects or with some of our partners that do the actual volunteer maintenance and trail adoption on the CDT. But then also just continue to be aware that even, you know, one of the worst things that's happening right now is that we don't know if the government's going to actually stay open.
Right.
And so for us, it's actually a little bit more tenuous because we're trying to squeeze everything into 3 weeks that we normally would do over 3 months. So we're all just sort of, I know, right? Yeah. Crazy. And that's sort of a stressful thing. So I think we don't know, we have a lot of still uncertainty about what's happening, and so we're sort of preparing for the worst. And that means getting all of our volunteers and all of our agreements with our federal agencies in place now, so if that closes again, the federal agencies close again, we actually can kind of do work and do something until we're actually, you know, we have some stability.
And yeah, it is an unpredictable time right now for federal agencies.
Absolutely, yeah.
Can volunteers still get involved through the Continental Divide group right now?
They can right now, and I will share though, if the federal agencies are closed, we actually can't run our projects because we actually have an agreement there, and we were just not allowed to be doing work on the federal property. So we can still do some work that's not either on the federal lands or in sort of in the office. We have some work we can do, or if people are out hiking on the trail, they can collect data for us, but we can't physically do any labor if the government is shut down. So for us, it's a challenge, and the trail's already got tons of backlog of maintenance, and that just means we're that further behind.
All right, well, we will hope for a permanent solution here soon. Likewise. But Teresa Martinez, thanks so much for sharing with us. If you have a question or a segment idea, remember you can tweet us at Denver 7 Politics, and don't forget you can watch today's segment anytime on the denverchannel.com/Politics Unplugged. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics Unplugged.